So let's get back to it. I now have coffee, and the pings before was my phone. So I have also learned from my mistake and put it on silent. So now there should be no more weird interruptions. So we had our point cloud here when I select the scene and our camera in the same scene. So we can actually have a really good indication of where to place our 3D geometry. But what are we going to project? So I had already prepared some layers, and there is a lot of workflows, and I'm going to show one of them. I'll quickly go over another one, but I will just show the ones where we save out each layer from Photoshop. So this is what I've done. I've painted some algae on the roof. I repainted the top of the tower here, and I removed this text because I didn't like it. And we're going to project all of these things. And I have the layers saved out here from Photoshop. You can find the Photoshop file I saved it out as in the projecting on cards project folder. And first, this is what we're going to use here. There's a lot of layers. I'm just going to move them up here because I also have loaded in the PSD. And the PSD looks like this. And the PSD holds all the layers I used. So if we look at this one, the read to, it's the one called castle DMP underscore flat underscore F underscore frame number. And F is for frame, and flat is because I flattened the PSD. So there's no adjustment layers or anything. There's only the layers we need. So if you see the difference here, there is just the color space, which is sRGB, and that's good. But if I look at my double click and look at my read and PSD file, there's something called breakout layers. And what that will do is that will shuffle out all our layers here. So you can go over each one of them to see what is actually in there. And in the end, it will have all of this. So I could go in and disconnect. Where's the alpha? This one. Oops. Just connect these two instead. And it will remove the alpha from it. So sometimes this is the workflow people are using to projecting. So they remove all of these and then they project here and connect this to your cards. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to take the files that I have. So I have saved out each of these layers. I have saved out from the Photoshop file. And I am going to go down here. And let's start with the front roof here with some algae. If you press A, you can see the alpha. And I was a bit sloppy with doing this, so there's some edges here and there, but that doesn't really matter because we're only going to project this part. And this one is called algae SR front. Let me just actually take one of the big fronts because I ran into an issue that I'm going to explain now. Front. Where is? There it is. And where is the front right algae alone? There we go. So I have this layer where there's some of the actual roof is in there. And I have this layer where there's nothing, there's only an alpha. And I have this layer. So a good way to check if your matte painting is reformatted correctly. I didn't do anything with overscan and I didn't do anything with double resolution here. Just because this is only focusing on setting up the projections. The rest will come when needed. Also, since I press A to go out of the alpha, since I had all the stuff I wanted to project on here, there was no need for overscan. As a general rule of thumb, you should always paint in double resolution. So here I am going to just press M. Here I have a merge and connect the B input with the plate I rendered out and the A input with my element. So you can see that looks like we want it to. And the same if I just connect it to the plate and go to the right frame. That looks like what we want it to. But if I connect this one, the algae front right alone, you can see it changed. And not only is it not green, but there's not as much on it. And that's because I ran into an issue when I set this up because of the color space conversion that happens between sRGB and linear. It's a bit more complicated to explain here. So we will go over color spaces in a different video series. But for now, I'm just going to show how you can like work around this and explain what the issue is. So here we have our alpha and we have our algae. And the alpha looks correct. And the algae also looks correct. But something is happening here. And that's because Photoshop handles colors a different way than Nuke. But a way you can get around this is you can create a grade node here and double click it, and in the channel set it to alpha, and then you can gain it up. So that gives us a bit more of what we wanted, but it's not necessarily the correct thing compared to the other one here, because the colors are a bit dark, and then you need to create another grade afterwards and say, okay, I want to make it a bit more bright green. Go back to this one and say the alpha needs to go a bit more up. Something like that maybe. So you can go in and tweak the alphas to get around that issue, but it will still not be 100% the same as you had in Photoshop. Because if we look at the difference here, you can see, okay, this one is actually way too dark. So I can just tone the alpha a bit down here. And it still doesn't have the greenness to it that I actually want. So it will take a lot of tweaking to get this one to work. But that's the way to do it. It gives you a lot more control over this. Another way to do it is I saved out the alpha here as a color. So I took the mask from Photoshop and I made it into a layer and I saved it out. What you can do is you can create a copy node here and put the B input to be the algae and the A input to be the alpha. That will give you a, I'm telling lies. I am telling lies. Yeah, I'm telling lies, sorry. You will create a shuffle. And then you will have this. We have our RGB here. And this is the new one, so you will just shuffle out. The red channel goes into the alpha. So now the red and the alpha are the same. So I just drag this red down here to alpha. We don't need any of this. We just need the red one to be to be the same as the alpha here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a shuffle a copy, because the shuffle copy doesn't exist anymore in this version of Nuke. So now we have the same issue as before, where we need to create a grade node and put it here in between our shuffle and set it to alpha, and then boost up some stuff, but it still doesn't get the colors correct. So again, there's a lot of tweaking here. An easy way to get around this is to bake some of the plate beneath your algae layer in Photoshop. And that is what I have here. So that's what we're going to do. And project this. So let's start with this element here, since it's the one we actually have now. But before that, let's just take a little break and then get back to the projection part.